So welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Mercedes-Benz of Hagerstown in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. And so today we are in the brand new 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 because it has very nice styling in my personal opinion, stunning ambient lighting as well. And there's actually two minor updates for 2026, which of course we will be going over in this video. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so there are a couple different configurations for the 2026 GLC 300. Got the rear wheel drive setup starting at $49,550, which is a modest $300 bump from the 2025 model year, which quite honestly isn't that bad compared to some of the other cars that I've been testing out. And then you got the 4MATIC all-wheel drive starting at $51,550. But regardless of the configuration that you go with, the power plant on the GLC 300 is going to be the same. Powering the beast is a 2-liter turbocharged inline 4-cylinder with a mild hybrid system that puts out 255 horsepower at 5,800 RPM, 295 pound-feet of torque coming in at 2,000 RPM. Power is going to be sent to the rear wheels or all wheels through a 9-speed automatic with paddle shifters, which of course you guys know we will be testing out here in a little bit. But 0 to 60 time, very respectable 6.2 seconds there, with MPG numbers coming in at 22 in the city, 27 on the highway, taking premium unleaded fuel. And so before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the GLC, I do want to mention to you guys the drive modes. And so drive modes, it's labeled dynamic. It stands for dynamic select. It's just below the infotainment screen here. Drive modes are going to include off-road, eco, comfort, sport, and individual, adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, steering sensitivity, and actually the all-wheel drive system engagement then as well. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find it straight away. Let's put the paddle shifters and acceleration here to the test. I want to see how quickly the paddle shifters are going to react for us here. And of course, let's see how quickly we can get this one here up to speed. All right, found a straightaway here. Got it in manual first gear, sport driving mode. 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. Not bad. That initial get up and go was ridiculous. Like almost electric good, but I guess because of the mild hybrid system that makes sense. But typically with the turbocharged 4-cylinder, you have a pretty substantial turbo lag when you initially hit the gas there, but that is 100% eliminated, probably because of the mild hybrid system. That was incredible. Like very nice acceleration there, not going to have any issues emerging onto the highway. Now the paddle shifters, it did automatically put me back into like regular driving mode, which I had to go back into the manual shift mode by simply just tapping a paddle shifters. Maybe I can adjust that within like the individual driving mode. Maybe you could put it in a full manual shift mode there. I don't know, but yeah, it does kind of go back to where it could shift for you if you don't hit the paddle shifters when it thinks you should hit the paddle shifters. So I'll just leave it at that. They are very high quality feeling though. I do like that. They're a nice silver finish, very high end feel to it, as opposed to like the matte black paddle shifters that you quite often find even on luxury automakers. So anyways, that's perfectly fine. But to go along with that acceleration, as always though, braking is equally important. And so up front you will find 13.5-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 12.6-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 107 feet, which quite honestly, that's like better than a sports sedan number. That's an absolutely amazing braking number. As far as the braking feel goes, on my short little test drive here today, definitely have not had any issues. This thing immediately brakes you to a stop. And when you guys look at the actual brake discs, you'll see why. They just bite, man. Like it's an absolutely incredible braking feel in the GLC. But then touching on suspension and handling, you will find a 4-wheel independent suspension coming standard and an adaptive variable suspension coming standard as well. You guys know I love an adaptive variable suspension if you watch my videos, but essentially what that does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, not only adjusting to the road imperfections, giving you a smoother ride, but it also tightens up that suspension during heavy cornering, giving you better handling as well. So it really does give you the best of both worlds. So it gives you a smoother ride, and that's probably the one that you notice the most with adaptive variable suspensions. If you drive the same vehicle, one with and one without, you do notice an immediately smoother ride, and it is definitely a smooth ride here in the GLC 300. So as far as ride quality goes, I'm gonna show a little test drive here today, absolutely no issues. As far as steering feel goes, now that does adjust dependent upon the drive mode that you put in it. So I still got it in sport and I love it. It's a very, very heavy weight to the steering. Instantly points you in the direction that you want to go, but let me go ahead and just put it back in comfort here real quick. it does loosen up substantially. So it's got something for everybody, which is what an automaker obviously wants, to kind of tailor the needs to everybody there. So that is pretty cool. I love this sport driving mid steering feel though. It's definitely absolutely amazing. As far as cabin noise goes, I'll be quiet here for a sec. Pretty darn quiet. I don't have any issues there, although I am pulling over right now to the side of the road, but still, definitely a very serene cabin in this thing. As far as rear visibility goes, looking out my rear view mirror here, I can see 100% perfectly fine out the back, so you shouldn't have any issues with that. In addition to that though, you do get rain sensing windshield wipers. That's going to turn on the windshield wipers automatically whenever this thing detects any kind of mist or rainfall. And I am also looking at a head-up display, which is optional by the way, but super large and in charge, super bright. Even with these sunglasses on, I can see perfectly fine. You can actually change this head-up display look as well through the steering wheel mounted controls on the left side of the steering wheel. So if you wanted to display more of a sportier look, you can do that. If you wanted the classic look for even the head-up display I'm talking about here, there's so much customization to this car, it's ridiculous. So I thought that was kind of cool. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2026 Mercedes-Benz GLC 300, finished in manufacturer Alpine Gray, which by the way is a $1,750 paint option. And also, we have like $17,000 in options on this one, so there's quite a bit extra, which is kind of cool. But anyways, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter W, indicating that the GLC 300 is built and assembled in Germany, as it should be. But starting up front, you will find a single horizontal chrome slat on the front grille, unless you go with the diamond block front grille, which is what you guys are currently looking at. That is going to come with the AMG line package that goes for $3,450. You get a unique front fascia with that as well, and a lot more gloss black accents and some indented front air curtains to the bottom corners there, helping direct air around the wheel and tire combination for a little better aerodynamics. But there is a new option for this year. It is called the AMG Light Plus package. So that kind of gives you that diamond block front grille with a little less of the other options that the full AMG line package gives you. So the AMG Light Plus package goes for $1,800, by the way. It gives you 19-inch AMG wheels, a panorama roof, and body colored rear spoiler as well. So I did want to mention that that's a new option for 2026. To the sides though, you get LED headlights with LED daytime running lights. You get the automatic feature with those. You get automatic high beams. So if you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams. And when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce back up the high beams for you there. And also wanted to mention front and center, there is an illuminated star option that goes for $400 in case you wanted that one. But let me know what you guys think of how this thing looks in the comments. That pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the GLC, starting all the way to the top, you're either going to find gloss black or aluminum roof rails, depending upon the package options that you go with. Chrome or gloss black window surrounds, same thing there. Body colored or gloss black side mirrors. Again, if you go with one of these AMG packages, you're going to get a lot of gloss black, like I was saying, but side mirrors are going to be power adjustable. You get LED integrated turn signals. They are heated and they are power folding then as well. And then taking a look down at the wheel setup, you're going to find 18-inch aluminum alloys coming standard. However, there are plenty of 19-inch and 20-inch designs available. And then the AMG packages give you AMG specific alloys like you guys are currently looking at as well. And look at those perforated rotors behind those front wheels. That looks so dang good. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of this one, first thing I always like to mention with just about all Mercedes have this or don't have this is there's no shark fin antenna found on the roof. It is such a clean look for that particular reason. I always think that's kind of cool because just about every other car does have one. But rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. You got the rear window wiper affixed to the rear glass as well. LED taillights coming standard. Of course, you're going to find either aluminum or gloss black trim on the lower portion of that rear bumper. It looks like we got some kind of a towing package down there, so I did want to, I guess, mention that briefly. But to the sides, there are dual exhaust outlets. However, they are not integrated into the rear bumper with chrome tips like Mercedes would have you believe. They are actually tucked away underneath. So did want to make note of that. But nonetheless, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. And some announcements, we are around to the back of the GLC. When it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is a power lift gate that does come standard, so you gotta love that. There's a button on the key fob, there's a rubberized button on the lift gate itself then as well, but once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 21.9 cubic feet. If that was not enough space, of course the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to 59.3 cubic feet. And by the way, that is a 40-20-40 split in case you were curious. There's a 12-volt power outlet back there. There's actually a button to fold down the rear seats in the cargo area. There's an elastic strap. You have chrome-plated tie-down anchors. A little bit of netted storage. You got grocery bag hooks on both sides. There is a cargo cover. Then if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you actually will find a spare tire, which I was surprised to see. So that was pretty cool. So then making our way up to the rear legroom, that is going to come in at 37.4 inches for reference. I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the rear seats there. Rear center armrest with phone and cup holders. So that was pretty cool. So originally when I first started reviewing this car, I didn't realize that there was cup holders. I thought it was just a phone holder, but if you press it in halfway and then let it go again, it's a little tricky. Then you got the cup holder, so I like that. But rear ventilation does come standard. You got a little bit of storage under there as well. Didn't see any USB charging ports though, which kind of surprised me. But anywho, then making our way up to the front seats, power adjustable front seats with memory settings coming standard. And by the way, it's memory settings for both driver and passenger, which you don't always get. Heated front seats coming standard. Ventilated front seats are going to be optional overall as far as seat comfort goes. It was plenty fine for me, so I certainly didn't have any issues with that. And then taking a look at the steering wheel is pretty nice. It is tilt and telescoping. It is power adjustable. It is leather wrapped. Nice little perforated design to it, and the grips are definitely on the thicker side, so I like that as well. Now let's make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got all of your buttons on one side. It's a very heavy duty key, has a nice weight to it. Lock is going to be the Mercedes emblem, unlock, and the button to pop the rear lift gate there. But it is all keyless entry with the push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that black engine start button located kind of just in between the gauges and the infotainment screen there. And so once started up, taking a look at the gauge cluster, it is a 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster, and it's pretty darn good. So there is steering wheel mounted controls found on the left side of the steering wheel. If you press that home button, that gives you a choice between a bunch of different loadouts like sport, classic, got navigation up there, and actually off-road as well. So, and then if you scroll up, you can actually adjust the look of the head-up display up there as well. So a lot of adjustments can be had with the gauges and the head-up display. I always think that's pretty cool, but bunch of different loadouts up there for you. Although I do miss understated. What happened to understated, Mercedes? I used to love that gauge cluster where you could change the colors of it and all that. Maybe they did away with it for 2026, but gives you the digital speedometer up there, outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. So pretty much everything you could possibly need up there. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. You get a new black fine line center console finish, or at least that's newly available, I'll put it that way, but that is new for 2026. Dual pane panoramic moonroof coming standard, frameless rear view mirror with HomeLink controls for up to 3 different garage doors there. Plenty of wood trims available as well if you'd rather go that route. You also have a wireless phone charger located just in front of the cup holders here, so I like that. Of course, 64 colors of ambient lighting, and by the way, Mercedes-Benz does ambient lighting better than anybody else. It's super bright. Definitely a huge fan of that. Then within the center armrest, it's an okay amount of storage in there. You have a USB charging port in there, a little bit of LED lighting within there as well. And I love that the ambient lighting is also on the ceiling here. You very rarely find that. Basically, you don't find that in anybody else. So I thought that was pretty cool as well. Also, genuine aluminum speaker covers. I was a big fan of that. I love the silver texturized finishes also found on the door. Ambient lighting is also surrounding this little handle on the door. You got ambient lighting within the little climate control vents too. So a lot of really nice touches in this one. But anyways, let's go ahead now and take a look at the infotainment screen. You're looking at an 11.9 inch portrait style touchscreen display. Get Bluetooth and audio streaming, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, factory navigation system as well. Climate control settings you can check out up there. Ambient lighting settings, of course, as well. Off-road statistics, and your radio information. So when it comes to the sound system, it is a Burmester 3D surround sound system that comes standard with aluminum speaker covers. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one. Yeah, it's plenty fine. Plenty of bass there, plenty of clarity. Again, love the aluminum speaker covers. You're not going to have any issues with that sound system. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen at least is when you do put the GLC in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. You also got that panoramic view monitor there to the left as well. And by the way, that's optional, but it's pretty cool. But that is always just going to lead us into safety. I'd say to start, front, side curtain airbags do come standard. You get driver's knee airbag up front as well. In the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, a collision mitigation braking system, driver attention monitoring system, Parktronic with active park assist, active brake assist, autonomous emergency braking, blind spot assist, and Mercedes-Benz emergency call service as well. So if you get in an accident, the airbag's deploy, it's going to automatically call you. The car is going to call you and ask if you need an ambulance or the police or whatever the case. So love that. Overall, when it comes to my final thoughts here, the GLC, excellent interior quality, especially the ambient lighting. And I love that there's 1,000 different options for the interior trims as well. So piano black versus wood trims or whatever the case. So love that. Ride quality is great as well, and adaptive damping suspension is always a big plus in my book. That really makes a massive difference. Park assist is fun. I did mention that yet. I forgot to mention that, but you can actually tell the car what parking spot you want it to park in, and then you could tell it if you want it to pull in or back in. So it actually does all the steering and the gas and the brake and all that for you. So that's pretty wild. The other thing is it's a really nice acceleration in this thing because of that mild hybrid system. It was instantaneous. There wasn't any turbo lag whatsoever. So really overall driving dynamics, I'll just put it that way. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Mercedes-Benz at Hagerstown on social media stuff at the bottom of the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel then as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video.